and welcome to another edition of the Red Mount Express. We have a big show for you today, talking about finally a new stadium for Birmingham, selling alcohol at 10 a.m., and also new healthcare headquarters for Encompass, which used to be Health South. But first, happy birthday, Matthew.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
What are you now, 45, 50?
Feels like it. 33 this year.
How'd you spend your birthday?
Well, so it was Easter weekend.
I mean, I know how you spent your birthday.
Yeah, it's a loaded question. Well, not loaded. What you know. Easter weekend. Also had a baby shower Saturday, which was my birthday, and was surrounded by just about everybody I know, with a few notable absences. I just had a really good time. Baby shower was huge. We got way too much stuff that we have nowhere to put, but we're so very thankful. Now we just need a baby to use it all with.
He'll be here sooner or later. He's gonna get here.
Yeah, no, it was a good weekend. The weather was awesome this weekend, man.
It was. It was like Easter Day. It was 75 outside.
Yeah, and even Saturday, you're looking at it was 78, 79 in the afternoon, and
it was really cold sunny in the morning when I woke up.
Yeah, the morning was cold. That night was a little bit chilly, but man, the daytime was perfect. I don't know, it was great. How about your weekend? It
was good. I recently, I think I put this on my Instagram, but I recently refinished an old toy box that my grandfather had built for my brothers and me that is about 30 years old. And so I spent the last couple of weeks like stripping it down, and we painted the bottom white, and then we refinished the top with a walnut finish.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it goes into our daughter's playroom, and it has some of the toys she owns because we couldn't fit every one of those toys.
Oh,
in
right,
there.
yeah.
Because we'd have to get, that's where we have a playroom now for her because we can't fit all the toys into the living room.
What used to be your office?
Yeah, it used to be my office, yeah. So now it's her office.
No, I did see the Instagram post. The chest looked great. Good job on that.
Thank you. If Beach and Woodworks would have done it, I'd have been done in like a couple days. But since I don't know what I'm doing, it was awful.
Were you nervous when you started doing it? Stripping things?
I wasn't nervous because, it's solid wood, so I'm not really going to break anything. But it was just a regular finish back in like 86 when it was built. And then my parents have painted over it like 4 or 5 times, like white and then cream and then another color. And they had it on their back porch. They kept I think they kept their dog food in it, and they kept, just odds and ends in there, like a drill in it, just things for the back porch that you didn't want out in the open. And then finally one day I was like, I really want that. And so they brought it to me and cleaned it out and everything. But it was a tough thing to kind of get done, especially because I'm not good at things like that.
Yeah, but practice makes perfect, they say.
That's why I have to mention it on here because I'm so proud that it actually got done.
Point people towards your Instagram account so you can get more likes.
I'm telling you what, it was good. I'm glad I got it done. But no, I had a good weekend as well. Of course, I went to the baby shower and celebrated the coming of a new baby boy for y'all. And then I think on Sunday, went to church for Easter, and then my parents came to town, and Megan's mom came over for lunch, and we had a nice roast, and then we went to bed really early last night because it was a really long week. But other than that, it's been a good week.
Well, good, man. I don't really want to dilly-dally too much with the weekend stuff because we have a lot of things to talk about in the news. So maybe let's move on to the first 2 items, and then we'll go to the break like we normally do. And
absolutely. Well, the first item I want to mention is there's an update on what was called the brunch bill. It was passed by the legislature that would allow Birmingham, if the city council wishes, to sell alcohol before noon. I think it's 10 a.m. The city council is going to put this on the agenda. It's going to be introduced by Hunter Williams, who's been on our show before. And it's going to, like I said, allow restaurants to sell alcohol at 10 a.m. I read the Senate bill today, and it's on-premise consumption only. So it's only restaurants. I had someone ask me this weekend that had heard the last show and said, so we're going to be able to go to gas stations and buy beer if we're in Birmingham city limits? And I said, I don't know. So I read it today. It's only for restaurants and I guess breweries and for only on-premise consumption. So that's going to be introduced this week, and it should pass pretty easily. I can't imagine anybody being against this.
Yeah, I can't either. And so it'll be introduced, passed, and then Kay Ivey will sign off on it?
No, so Kay Ivey's already signed the legislation.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So this the mayor, I guess, signs off on it, which he wants, and mimosas and Bloody Marys it is.
Right, yeah, right on. Next thing we want to talk about is the
Industrial Park?
Industrial Park, yeah. Sorry, thank you for picking up the slack there. We talked about this story several months back. There was a proposal for a high-tech industrial park and residential community near Barber Motorsports. They have received, or are going to actually officially receive, a $6 million federal grant towards that. So that's awesome.
And it's the Birmingham city limits, right? Is that right?
Yeah, Barber Motorsports is in the city limits.
Okay.
Now, I'm got this update from usnews.com and from AP, and they're saying that the Alabama Department of Labor has said or projected that the project will generate economic impact of more than $85 million for Birmingham, and that's going to be around 1,200 jobs in the area. That's huge. That's awesome.
Absolutely, and recruits new businesses to move to the city, which is always important.
Yeah, and just want to give that quick little update for that because it's happening now, so awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break. Let's hear from our friends at Beecham Woodworks, and we'll come back with the rest of the show. Got an expansion of Liberty Parkway, and like I said at the beginning of the show, Health South has a new headquarters, and then, of course, the new stadium. So we'll be back in a minute. Beecham Woodworks is a locally owned and operated wood shop in Birmingham, Alabama, specializing in custom furniture and small home goods. Chris and Kanan Beecham create a wide variety of unique pieces of all sizes, ranging from cutting boards to farmhouse tables. Using wood sourced from Alabama sawmills, Beecham Woodworks creates affordable quality pieces that will be a one-of-a-kind fixture for your home. So support your local woodworker and visit redmountainexpress.com/woodworks or check them out on their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Beecham Woodworks, turning your house into a home.
Welcome back to the second half of Red Mountain Express, episode 38. I want to talk about this. This is a news story that popped up that I almost disregarded because it didn't really mean very much to me. But the more I read about it, the more excited I got about it, and the more it meant to me. Uhaul has revealed plans for a former Hardy Times building in Birmingham. Now, if you're like me, you hear the Hardy Times building name and you don't really have too much of a recollection that goes with that. Like, do you know what I'm talking about, Blake, when I say the Hardy Times building?
No, but then when you showed me the picture before, then it popped in my mind. I was like, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah, so when I looked up the picture of the building, all of a sudden I knew exactly what it was. It's on 28th Street North in Birmingham, and it's a really big red and black complex, like industrial building.
It's an old mill, right?
Yeah, so they did a whole lot of large-scale industrial engineering. They did like mining equipment, steam turbines, defense equipment for like World War I and World War II. They did a lot of equipment builds for energy production companies, and they even did some train repair. So they've been there since like 1895, have been a big part of that area and a big part of Birmingham as far as our manufacturing goes.
Now, is it vacant now?
Right now it is vacant, and Uhaul has bought the property for what I believe was $1.65 million, and what they're planning to do is make it what they're calling the Uptown Uhaul location, and we're talking about maybe 5 or 6 blocks away from the current Uptown location. They want to put in, like, I think 1,000 storage units, indoor climate-controlled storage units, truck rental. I think they're talking about like a 24/7 like self managed truck rental type thing.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
So really
you come in, you can pay for it, pick up your own keys, and go.
Like right now, if you go to Uhaul, you have to be there during business hours. You have to bring the truck back by closing.
Have to wait for the lady in front of you to quit complaining about the U-Haul she had.
Yes, yeah. Or trying to get a claim for something that was broken.
That mirror was falling off when I got the truck.
Something's wrong with the truck. It broke all of my stuff in transit. So this is a really cool thing. They're planning on, from everything I've read, keeping the building the same. They say the building has really good bones. They just want to use the inside of the building and keep the outside.
It's a cool looking building. It's 2 buildings, right?
Yeah, so they're right next to each other.
Right,
they're
but they're cool looking. It's kind of like a barn type building.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
Like a really big barn.
Yeah, it's big.
Type.
Yeah, they're big. What's the square footage on those things?
I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty massive.
Yeah. Now this is not going to be a major source of new hires, but they are talking about hiring around 20 or so people for this new location. So that's nice.
But it's a cool, thing that's happening in that area of town that's going to see a lot of renovation.
And they're saving one of these older historical buildings, something that's been like a part of U.S. history and Birmingham history. So that's really cool. Like it's still going to be there, and they're going to save the outside of it.
Well, I think me and you have always said that we are fans of old buildings.
Exactly.
And there's been a lot of old buildings, just around the country that have been beautiful, that were torn down in hopes of bringing something better, and it's usually never better. Look, Grand Central Station in New York City, they tore that thing down and replaced it with Penn Station, right? Is it Grand Central Station?
Yeah.
Anyway, and I don't know if you've ever been to Penn Station. It's a dump.
I've not been to Penn Station.
It's awful. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, you're good. Scott Fall, he's the Uhaul company of Central Alabama president. He said, quote by PR Newswire, "The whole downtown area is being revitalized. Old office buildings are being turned into housing, and the Central City neighborhood is booming. We're excited to be a part of this beautification effort." So, little quip from him, and then there are other statements about thinking the building has really good bones and wanting to do something with the building without destroying the outside. I'm excited about this. Birmingham's got some great old buildings, and to be able to keep as many as we can and do new things with them is awesome.
That's cool. Well, I've got something on Encompass Healthcare, which is formerly Health South. It's moving in their new headquarters. This is kind of an update on a story we did months and months ago. They built a new headquarters, moved out of the Grand Cahaba Center, which is over there next to Grandview Health. And they've moved out to their new headquarters on Liberty Parkway. 200,000 square feet. They can house up to 660 employees. I think they have somewhere around 500 right now. It's a big parking deck. They have a jogging trail, a huge dining area, a coffee bar, a fitness center, and it's all located on a 7-acre plot of land. You could see it if you're actually going down the interstate. You can see it on the right if you're headed out of town. But pretty big for Health South. I know they thought about maybe going downtown, but I think their employees made this decision to move out there. So that's big. But I know you said there's something else on Liberty Parkway that's it's a big story.
And I think this move by Health South or Encompass has helped precipitate this. There's Birmingham now is reporting a Liberty Parkway master plan and redevelopment there. The big part of the story was that Birmingham, Vestavia, and Jefferson County are going to pool their resources to widen Liberty Parkway. They're going to turn that into a 4-lane highway there. And apparently this was agreed upon between the Birmingham City Council and Vestavia and Jefferson County last week.
Regional cooperation?
Right?
What?
Yeah. What is this? I believe that the Liberty Park joint venture, which is Liberty Park subdivision officials and business owners, they're going to fund 58% of the project, which will be about $2.4 million, and then Birmingham will contribute 5%, which is about $224,000. Vestavia Hills has agreed to contribute 13%. Jefferson County has agreed to contribute 8%. And then Encompass Health, Corporate Realty, and some other groups are also going to contribute to this. So the total price on this is going to be about $4.1 billion or $1 million. Ooh, not billion.
I say billion. I was like, what kind of road are they building out there?
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing: is that's the road, that's the $4.1 million, and then the actual master plan that you can see on the BHAM Now article, which I'll link, is going to be about 700 acres adjacent to the Health South headquarters, and it's going to. I think they've got from the designs, there's some new town center type stuff, some new living areas. Looks like some townhomes. So that's going to be a pretty cool project there.
Oh, that's going to be exciting, especially, I think we have a couple friends that work out at Health South. One in particular, he was the one that asked me about the brunch bill. He was talking about how they were moving in, actually today as we're recording right now. We also want to apologize that if you're listening to this, it's probably a day late. With it Easter this weekend, and we've been so busy, we had to do this a day later than we normally do. So hope you're enjoying this episode. But Matthew, we're getting a new stadium. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been down this road before, but I feel more confident than anything because the funding's there. It's regional cooperation with the Jefferson County and UAB and the city, and then, of course, corporate partners as well. But the city council, after a 7-hour city council meeting, voted to appropriate $3 million a year for 30 years for a new stadium. The vote was 6-3, with LaShonda Scales and Sheila Tyson and Daryl Quinn voting against. That's not a bad thing if they had their reasons for it. But the stadium, like I said, will be built across from Uptown. To kind of give you an idea where that is, if you look on a map, It'll be built between the sidelines. Will be between 22nd Street North and 24th Street North, and the end zone. One end zone will be right across from Uptown, and the other end zone will be adjacent to 12th Avenue North. So that little box area. It's a big area. 45,000 seats. They can expand it to 55,000 seats for an event. And we've kind of been talking back and forth with friends of ours of how big of a stadium that is. So I kind of looked today at some other stadiums that we could compare it to. So I'm going to start at the high end at 55 and kind of go low. So Bobby Dodd Stadium, which is where Georgia Tech plays, is about 55. Alton Stadium, where Oregon plays, is 53. Bill Snyder Family Football Stadium, where Kansas State plays, is 52. Stanford Stadium, where the Stanford Cardinals play, is 50,000. And then let's go down to what the stadium is going to be normally without the expansion, is Amon Carter Stadium, where TCU plays, and that's a pretty new stadium. They've done a lot of renovations, is around 45,000. And McLean Stadium, that the Baylor Bears play in, is about 45,000. I've seen that stadium up close. It's massive.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's a very pretty stadium. So for a lot of people to say that, oh, it's not big enough to attract big-time programs, I mean, come on. I mean, Oregon, and Georgia Tech, and Kansas State, and Baylor, and TCU are all big programs, at least in the NCAA stadium. And also it's being built by a reputable, or being designed by a reputable company, Populous. They designed Bank of America Stadium, where the Panthers play, Heinz Field, where the Steelers play. I want to say Everbank Stadium, where the Jacksonville Jaguars play. I mean, there's a ton of NFL stadiums and baseball stadiums and soccer fields and baseball fields. It's they're a good company. So it's going to generate about $9 million a year, and I think $5 million while they're building it. Which comes to my next point: is as soon as they appropriated the money or voted to contribute that money, the very next thing that the council did was voted to set up a neighborhood revitalization fund, where the money, the revenue from the new stadium will go into to revitalize the neighborhoods of Birmingham. There have been a lot of folks who are talking about spending $3 million every year that could go to the neighborhoods. I understand that argument. I mean,
sure, right?
Why spend the money on the stadium when you should be spending it on the neighborhoods? That's a fine argument, but knowing that $3 million is going to be turned into $5 million and then $9 million, I think that's a little bit bigger number than a lot of people were expecting.
Well, it's much bigger. And then consider that's for the next 30 years, and then after that, barring renovations and things, we will be increasing that substantially. How much money we'll be generating from that project? Yeah, and then let's just talk about. We're just talking about the stadium. The BJCC is going to get a new entrance. They're going to add some club-level stuff inside the arena. The outside of the arena is going to get a whole makeover with kind of the metal or I guess it's aluminum siding. Yeah, metal and glass.
Yeah, it's kind of what it looks like with Mercedes, the Mercedes Superdome. It'll look really sleek. They're going to open up a new piazza area. Is that how you say it? I guess. Sure, why not? But also, if you've looked at the master plan, which I'm looking at right now, they're going to add Uptown should be expanded. That's kind of in the plan. A new hotel is planned to go on the right side of the stadium. That's not involved in this funding, but you build a stadium like that, the business comes and it'll show up. And then you have Top Golf. Uhaul's building a new thing over there, so it's a big. It's big news for the north side of town.
So we've got the stadium, and the stadium is huge news, but we've also got, as you just mentioned, the renovations to the BJCC stuff that's right there. And think about how many we get some good concerts in the area now.
Yeah.
Some good, I've been to a play there at the BJCC. There have been a lot of really big plays here recently. But think about how many more really big events we can get. New concerts, bigger productions and plays. This is a huge deal as far as bringing people into the city to see things and enjoy things, and that will help fill all this hotel space we're getting here recently. We're gonna have a lot going on here. I think it's huge.
Absolutely.
I think just the stadium by itself is enough to get me excited, but the whole project in general is just massive for us. Yeah. Birmingham in 2020, I think, is going to look like a completely different city from what it looks like now.
So, on the subject of the stadium. So I sent you a picture that Coach Bill Clark, the UAB head coach, tweeted out. and it says "Dreams Come Reality," and had a picture of the stadium and then the city skyline behind it. And I was like,
Yes.
"Is this our?" So tell everybody about
You
this.
sent me this tweet, and I looked at it, and I thought, man, that looks awesome.
I mean,
That's amazing. Like, I'm blown
Yeah.
away. Whoever our designer is has done an outstanding job, and I hope the reality matches.
But
this.
I was like, that doesn't look like the renderings I've seen. But man, I like it.
Exactly. So I think I sent you a message back, and I was like, that looks great. Like, what's going on here? And the next thing you sent kind of destroyed me a little bit. What did you send me back?
I found out that that's not our stadium. It's Colorado State Stadium. It was built by, or it was designed by Populous. I think that they had sent some renderings over to the athletic department. They put it together, and he tweeted it out. And it was kind of made some headlines.
It garnered some attention.
Yeah. The funny thing is that we kind of looked at this a minute ago, and that stadium, which is very pretty and it's beautiful, is smaller than the one that we want to build. That seats about 40,000, and so ours will seat 45 to 55. But if you look at it, I've seen the actual real rendering of the Colorado State Stadium. Mm-hmm. They did a good job of taking CSU off of everything, except for on the sidewalk, it still says Rams.
Yes. Yeah, so they got some of the colors off. They took the CSU stuff off, but then you still have the color of where it says Rams there. I got a good laugh out of that. I know they took the tweet down pretty quickly after they figured out what they had done.
And they apologized.
They did apologize, and it's an easy mistake to make when somebody sends you those renderings and you're trying to move quickly and get stuff out there. But I have no doubt that our stadium, while it may not look like Colorado Stadium, is going to look great.
Well, and let's always throw this out there to our listeners, is that the stadium that you've seen in the renderings is not the stadium that's going to get built. It'll look like that, but there will be changes made. There'll be tweaks and some
that's
things.
That's a very rough
right,
sketch of the general building dimensions more than anything else.
And you've seen this with our stadiums when, just in my own experience, when I went to school at the University of Alabama, that's when they expanded Bryant-Denny to add the upper decks to both end zones. The original renderings, years before that happened, didn't quite look like that, and then they came back a couple years before they started expanding it, and then it looks the way it does now. So there's going to be some tweaks to it. They'll probably add a few things in the front level and everything, but we're getting a new stadium, man, and that's all that matters.
So here's the question then. I think people will be asking soon, or people have already asked, is what's next in this process? What's left to do? I know I've worked in some construction type jobs before, and I know that we're going to have to go through bidding soon. There's going to be people that are lining up to get their foot in the door to help build on this. But what else is left to do before we actually start breaking ground and moving forward on this?
Well, I think that you have to get back with the architects, have them finish the designs of it. There are still negotiations ongoing with UAB and some corporate partners, which is going to go through. It just takes a little bit more time. And then I think that after that, it's just kind of waiting for, like you said, bids to go out, trying to get the proper permits available, and then you start breaking ground. They want to have this done by 2020, ready for the World Games, which are 2021. And there's also a frequently asked questions, or not a frequently asked questions, but everything you need to know about what the stadium construction that AL.com did, or was it AL.com?
Yeah, it was AL.com. It was titled BJCC Answers Burning Questions About the Stadium Project, including taxes, timeline, and location. I'm going to post that in our show notes. I'm also going to post a story from Birmingham Now. They did an email interview with Darryl Quinn, kind of asking about the new stadium and his responses, and gives a little insight about why he voted no. So those things will be posted on there in addition for you to read and get more of the story.
So do you think this is going to – I know UAB is going to play there, and then if you would imagine that the Birmingham Bowl will go there as well. Can you foresee maybe a kickoff game, kind of the way Atlanta does it? I mean, not on that scale, of course, but maybe bringing in two maybe southeastern regional teams to do a kickoff game in Birmingham?
I really hope so. I can't see a reason why we wouldn't try and do that.
Yeah, if UAB is not playing there that weekend.
Right,
right. That's big for UAB, too. I mean, they're going to get their own stadium. And I think me and you were talking with some friends of ours about how this stadium fits Birmingham. Mm-hmm. Legion Field, for as great as it is, I mean, at one time was around 83,000, and now it's like 71, which is that's still a big stadium for anyone. I mean, I think the Georgia Dome was 71. So think about that. I mean, we have a stadium that big in Birmingham, and I mean, we can't fill it.
No, I can't tell you the last time it was filled.
Yeah, I don't think I can tell you the last time it was filled. I'm going to tell you probably the last time it was filled completely. Alabama played University of South Florida was the last game they played there in 2003. I guarantee you that's the last time it was filled. It had to be.
You're probably right.
So,
So, and that's, we were talking about this and just talking about how other really big college towns and other really big pro football areas, like you just don't see stadiums much bigger than this in too many places. No. And I know looking at it, like as we were leading up to the vote and as we were looking at all the plans that were coming through, I did have a propensity to think about this as being a smaller stadium to fit Birmingham, but it's not that small.
No, and especially when you compare it to other stadiums I talked about. I mean, it's right up there with, Georgia Tech's not a small program.
No.
Oregon sure as hell ain't a small program. I mean, they were in the national championship race usually every year.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Baylor, I mean, they're part of the Big 12. So, just saying.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good stadium.
It's awesome. We've never gotten this far along in the process, and now we're so close to breaking ground that you can just about taste it if you're into that kind of thing.
You taste dirt?
I mean, I have.
This Alabama clay is just wonderful. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't think we can top that story. I don't have anything else.
I don't have anything else either. But I'm glad we recorded. I know me and you talked about maybe skipping a week, but we're like, no, this is too big of a story.
No, yeah. Even if all we had was this story, I'd wanted to talk about it.
Did you watch the city council meeting at all?
I went back on YouTube and watched a couple of little clips from it. Yeah. I did not watch the meeting in whole. You did, though,
yeah,
right?
It took. I had it going while I was working, just in the background, and it was just like. But I'm glad that they allowed people the opportunity to come up there and air their grievances. And also talk about how they either are against it or supported it. But at the end of the day, I think the right decision was made. The funding is there now. It's time to start putting the shovels in the dirt and let's get to work.
Right. I think the people that disagreed and didn't want this had various reasons. There's a lot of nuance that goes into something like this. Even looking at Darrell O'Quinn's statements about why he voted no, there are so many factors that go into a project this big and something that will affect the city and all of its citizens on such a large scale. But I agree with you. I think they made the right call and we're moving in the right direction.
Well, and I think also the fact that they created the revitalization fund. I mean, it was the next vote.
Yeah,
and it was unanimous.
And I have to think Woodfin had that ready the whole time.
Absolutely. And I think it was unanimous, but one person was not there to vote, who I think the council member was talking to a constituent. And I think had said that they would have voted for it if they were up on the
right
above the the place where they vote. So we get a new stadium, and hopefully we can break ground soon and play some football, or soccer, or watch a concert,
or whatever,
So, well, Matthew, what else you got for us?
That's it, man.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of the Red Mountain Express. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or you can log on to redmountainexpress.com, which I promise you, Matthew, I will renew the URL this week.
If you try to go to redmountainexpress.com and you get a big old, this page cannot be found, email Blake.
Blake at Red Mountain Express. Well, then you wouldn't be able to email me because the page is down, right?
No, email still works.
Because it's through Google?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, go to redmountainexpress.com if it's still up, and we will catch you next week. For Matthew Joyner, I'm Blake Westbrook. This has been Red Mountain Express.